to all to you. Thank you very much for your interest. And she knew that she could trust many people in the United States of America who are fighting for democracy and for freedom around the world. And she's very touched because you had the time and the will to call her and simply ask how she is. Well, the message is she is critical. The days are passing by, and in a couple of days or 3, the medics and the doctor says that she's going to be maybe in an irreversible situation, health irreversible situation.
Her demands right now, Willie?
Her demands are nowadays are the same demands that she made the first day. She only wants to go back home to her family, to her people, to her country, where she's having a non-violent struggle against all the different violations of the human rights that are being every day in Morocco. And she just wants to go back home. She thinks, and the law here in Spain, technically and legally, this was kidnapped. She was forced to get in a plane. She was her passport and documents were removed from her, which is illegal. She was forced to get in a plane, translated to another different country, which is Spain. And the Spanish government allowed her to get in the country without a passport, which is absolutely unusual. It never happened again. It never happened before in this country. So she's just saying around the world that it is an injustice situation that she's been involved in, and the Spanish government is taking part of that. The Spanish government is taking part on the side of the Moroccan country, which are violating her human rights and all the Sahrawi people human rights. That's the only demand she does. Please let them go back home.
The Nobel Prize winner for literature, José Saramago, is also with Aminatou?
Yeah, he came this morning. She's a very old man. He's 92 years old, and she's also very weak and casually. He lives in the island where we are, and he came this morning and ride with her, and he did some statements. And he came here.
We're losing you. We're talking to Guillermo Toledo, Willie Toledo, who's a famous Spanish actor who's been at the side of Aminatou Haidar as she continues this hunger strike into her 3rd week. With us here in Washington, D.C. is Mouloud Said, who is a representative of the Polisario Front, and we're with Stephen Zunes, who is writing a book on the Western Sahara. Mouloud Said, the significance of Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, going to Morocco.
I think not just the significance of her going. I know she was going to a forum. It wasn't a visit to Morocco per se, but was an international forum, a meeting there that she was invited to take part in. But I think statements regarding the Moroccan role on the human rights and the respect for human rights, they have been challenged by the facts, and they were denied by the facts on the ground. We're speaking about Aminatou, but there are also 7 other human rights activists that they are going to be taken before a military court because of their political opinions. They will be taken to a military court one of these days. So Aminatou is just the tip of the iceberg. Also, we had 2 young girls last week that they were traveling to London for their studies. Their passports were confiscated and they lost their flight. We have some other 6 young Sahrawis that they were taken at the border with Mauritania. They are right now in jail with no passports. So Aminatou is just the tip of the iceberg. And so we believe that the timing of the statement by Mrs. Clinton, by Secretary of State Clinton, with all my due respect, the timing was wrong and the place was wrong. I don't think that anybody could see the way. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me put that question also to Professor Stephen Zunes in San Francisco. The role of Hillary Clinton, but also you write extensively about the history of this conflict with everyone from Henry Kissinger to James Baker to John Bolton. Explain, lay it out for us.
Well, basically, the United States has supported Morocco, seen initially as a important anti-communist ally in the region, and more recently an important ally in the struggle against Islamic extremism. And as a result, they're turning a blind eye to gross and systematic human rights violations by the Moroccan government in Western Sahara. In recent years, under the new king, things have liberalized a fair amount within Morocco itself, but in the Western Sahara, it is the most brutal police state I've ever seen. I've been in the occupied territory. And the Moroccans started a particularly vicious crackdown back in October. And just after they rounded up 7 prominent human rights activists in Western Sahara, charging them with high treason, in comes Hillary Clinton, and in an interview with the Moroccan press, gives unconditional praise to Morocco's human rights record. And then she goes on and seems to endorse this mediation process that Morocco's been pushing to get this kind of phony autonomy for Western Sahara without granting the people of Western Sahara the right for the option of independence, which is required for all non-self-governing territories. This right. If Morocco gets away with this so-called autonomy scheme, it would be the first time since the signing of the UN Charter that a country's gotten away with expanding its boundaries by military force. Now, and I think emboldened by this endorsement by Clinton, I think it encouraged the Moroccans to crack down further. There have been more arrests, but then, of course, this deportation of Aminatou Haidar. And it's also important to emphasize that the deportation, the forced exile of people under foreign military occupation, is a direct violation of the Fourth Geneva Convention. And yet the White House has been silent on it, and the State Department was silent until a few days ago, and all that Ian Kelly, the State Department spokesman, could say was that he hoped for a swift determination of Haidar's status. He said nothing about Morocco's legal obligations to allow her to return immediately. And this is very disappointing. When Haidar won the RFK Prize last year, Senator Leahy, who was standing in for Ailing Senator Kennedy, promised that help was on the way in the terms of the new administration. But all we've seen is a continuation of the Bush administration's policy and those of previous administrations of supporting Morocco's illegal and repressive occupation.
Let me go back to Willie Toledo in the airport. What are you calling for right now as you are there with Aminatou in the Canary Islands? How do you think people can get involved?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. Could you please?
How do you feel people can be involved in this issue as you speak to us from the airport in the Canary Islands, where Aminatou is on the hunger strike?
Well, we are receiving lots of solidarity shows, and there are many people from the island, many people from the whole state, and many people from foreign countries that are coming and traveling over here. They're coming from people from Ostrich, people from Brazil, people from England, people from France, from the United States. Right here there are two women from the Robert Kennedy Center spending the night with Aminatou. They have been here for the last 3 days. And actually, I think everybody's looking to Lanzarote, to the Canary Islands, to Aminatou Haidar, except for the Spanish government, who is trying to look to another side. But they will have to give us a response. They will have to give Aminatou some solution, because days are passing by and her health is getting critical and more critical every day. So she's very happy about
Is she fasting to the death?
Sorry?
Is she fasting to the death?
She is fasting to the death. Yes, she is very determined with that. That is the struggle she decided to put on, and she's very decided to hunger strike until death. And if anybody knows Aminatou Haidar, I know her since a long time ago. We are sure that she is very determined to go all the way through, which is very dangerous, and we are very worried about her, because She's very determined. She's a very strong woman, and she says that prefers to die than living in dignity.
We're going to leave it there. Guillermo Willie Toledo.